you guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I have 4 different dinner ideas for you, and these are all going to be dinners that you can make in 30 minutes or less, so they are perfect for busy weeknights, if you're a busy mom, things like that. Anytime that you just need a really quick and easy dinner idea, these are going to be the perfect dinners for you. So let's go ahead and get into today's video. For this first dinner, we are going to be making some pizza burgers, and this is actually something that my mom used to make for us when we were younger. We always loved them and they're super simple. So I'm just starting off by laying out some hamburger buns and toasting them in the oven for just a couple of minutes while I'm getting this ground beef mixture ready. As you can see, I already had my ground beef all cooked and ready to go, so I'm just adding that into my pan with some mushrooms. Of course, the mushrooms are optional, but I do like to add them. My kids love mushrooms. And then I'm adding in pizza sauce. I don't have a specific amount here. I would say I probably add about 3/4 of the jar, but you can add a little bit more or a little bit less, just depending on your family's preferences. And you're just gonna heat all of this up together. After the buns had toasted in the oven for a couple of minutes, I'm just taking that meat mixture and scooping it right on top of there. This does not look very pretty, but I promise they do taste really good, and my kids really love them as well. And then I'm just topping those with a little bit of some shredded cheese. Use whatever your favorite blend is, and then these are gonna go right into the oven. I usually put my oven around 375 for probably like 7 minutes or so, just until the buns are nice and crispy and the cheese is melted. These come out super delicious. They're great for a quick and easy dinner or even a lunch. We actually had these on lunch this particular day. I just served them alongside of some peppers. A side salad would be good, but this is a really quick and easy dinner. For this next dinner, we are having a honey garlic and chicken stir fry. Now, I have tried a lot of different honey garlic chicken recipes, and this is definitely my favorite. So I'm just starting off by heating up probably like a tablespoon of olive oil and cooking the broccoli. I did use frozen broccoli for this recipe. I just cooked that until it was the desired doneness. You can do a little bit firmer broccoli or a little bit softer, just depending on what you want. Now into that same skillet, I'm just adding another drizzle of olive oil, probably about a tablespoon, and then I'm adding the chicken right in there. This is just 2 chicken breasts that I had cut up into bite-sized pieces. And then to season these, you can really use any type of seasoning that you want, but I just chose to use the Auntie Nono's everything seasoning, and it worked really good for this recipe. So I'm just sprinkling this on top, and then I'm gonna cook this chicken until it is all the way cooked through. While that chicken is cooking up, I'm just getting my sauce mixture ready. I'm just adding all of this to a measuring cup to make it nice and simple. But this is a 1/4 cup of water, a 1/4 cup of soy sauce, a 1/4 cup of honey, a teaspoon of sesame oil, and then I also added in a 1/2 teaspoon to a teaspoon of minced ginger. And of course, you're gonna want about 4 cloves of garlic as well. I did decide to add in a little bit of garlic powder since I didn't have quite enough garlic on this night, giving that a good mix together. And I almost forgot to add in that sesame oil, but then your sauce is ready to go. Now into this other bowl, I'm just making the cornstarch slurry for the sauce. So this is just 2 teaspoons of cornstarch and then about a tablespoon of cold water, and I'm just mixing that together and setting it aside. Now once the chicken is all the way cooked through, you're just going to be adding your broccoli mixture back in there and kind of letting it heat back up. And you're also going to want to add in your sauce. So the sauce for this recipe is super good. It's not too sweet, it's not too salty. Honestly, it's about perfect. I love this recipe. I'm just going to dump the sauce mixture all over the top. And then I'm also adding in the cornstarch slurry at the same time, giving it a good mix together. And after a couple minutes, this mixture will thicken up till it's a nice consistency. I chose to serve ours over rice, but of course you could mix this with pasta if you want to, or whatever you like to do for stir fry. But this was a huge hit in our house. I'll definitely be making this again. And like I said, this is probably one of our favorite honey garlic chickens that we have tried. For this next dinner, I'm just making a chicken noodle soup in the Instant Pot, but you can also do this on the stovetop. If you want to make this a true 30-minute dinner, you can use pre-cooked chicken that's already shredded, or you can get a rotisserie chicken, but I'm just throwing mine in my Instant Pot really quick with a little bit of salt, pepper, garlic powder, and about a cup of water. And then I just pressure cooked this on high for I think it was like 18 minutes to start. But since my chicken breasts were frozen together, I ended up having to throw them in for a few extra minutes at the end. Just pressure cook this until it is completely cooked through and then set that aside. While my chicken is cooking, I'm just prepping my veggies. You're gonna want about 5 carrots, 5 stalks of celery, as well as 1 onion just chopped up and ready to go. Once my chicken was done cooking, I just set that into a bowl, set it aside, and then I'm putting my Instant Pot on saute mode, adding in some olive oil and all of my veggies, and I sauteed these for probably a good like 6 or 7 minutes. All I did for seasoning was just a little bit of salt and pepper. Play around with this, add what you want, but you're just going to want to cook these for about 6 or 7 minutes. While my vegetables are cooking, I'm just shredding my chicken with a hand mixer. If you guys watch my channel, you know this. I pretty much always do this. Of course, you can take 2 forks and shred it that way, but this is so much easier and way less time consuming. So I'm just getting that all shredded and ready to go. Once my chicken is all shredded and ready and my vegetables are nice and soft, I'm heading back over to my Instant Pot. I did add in a big scoop of minced garlic. I'm letting that saute for maybe like 30 seconds to a minute, just until that garlic is nice and fragrant. And then I'm going to add in some extra seasoning. For this recipe, I just did probably about half a teaspoon of some oregano, a little bit more salt and pepper. You can always adjust the seasoning at the end of this recipe, so don't feel like you need to add a bunch right away, especially when it comes to salt and pepper. And then I usually add in about 8 cups of chicken broth, but if you want you to have a little bit more broth in your chicken noodle soup, then I would add about 10 cups, but my kids and my husband like it to be a little bit thicker of a soup, so I usually do the 8 cups. Bring that up to a boil, and then once it's boiling, I just added in my egg noodles. These are Amish egg noodles, so they take a little bit longer to cook. I think I cooked ours for around 15 minutes, but just follow the instructions on the back of your package. Once your noodles are just about done cooking, you're going to want to add your chicken back in there and just mix all of this together. Let it simmer just a couple more minutes. Like I said, if you want this to be a thinner soup with more broth, I would add a couple extra cups of broth, but this is how we like it. It's a really good soup full of a ton of flavor and pretty healthy for you too. For this next dinner, I'm making a baked orange chicken. This turned out absolutely delicious. I'll definitely be making it again. I'm just starting off by getting my breading mixture ready for my chicken. So this is about a cup of panko that I'm just throwing into the blender to get smaller pieces. I will say next time I'm going to do 2 cups right off the bat because I did have to add some more later on. So just get those blended up, and then I just added them right into a Ziploc bag to make things easier. Now again, if you want to make things easier on yourself, use a gallon size Ziploc versus these quart size ones. Into the other bag, I added in about half a cup of flour, and then into this bowl here, I added in 2 eggs, but again, I would recommend doing about 3 eggs for this recipe because I did have to add another one later on. I'm going to have this recipe linked down below in my description box with all of the other recipes, but this particular one actually called for boneless, skinless chicken thighs. I did not have any on hand and my store was out of them, so I just used some chicken breasts. I just cut those up into bite-sized pieces, and then I'm going to start breading the chicken. Now I put everything in bags just to make everything a little bit faster and a little bit easier. Of course, you can do this in bowls, you can do it one piece at a time, but I just chose to shake it all together. You're going to start by putting the chicken into the flour, then that's going to go into the egg wash, and then finally that will go into the panko mixture, and then all of that will just go on to the baking sheet. I will say this process took a little bit of time. It probably took me a good like 5 minutes to bread all of this. If you've ever breaded chicken before, it is kind of a pain in the butt process, but it is a lot healthier for you than buying chicken in the store. So I would recommend trying this out if you are up for the challenge, but it is really good and it didn't take very long at all, and it was definitely worth it in the end. So I'm just getting all of my chicken ready to go onto my baking sheet. I just baked these chicken pieces in the oven at 400 degrees for about 25 minutes. Check them at 20 minutes though, and then stick them back in if they need a few more minutes. While those are in the oven though, I'm going to be getting the sauce ready. I'm not even going to say all of the different measurements here. I'm just going to have the recipe linked down below. But basically this is a sauce made up of oil, ginger, garlic, crushed red pepper, cornstarch, rice wine, orange juice, fresh squeezed from the orange, and then some sesame oil, soy sauce, sugar, vinegar, and a zested orange. It is a lot of different ingredients, but you probably have a lot of them on hand. Of course, you could buy a sauce from the store if you wanted to, but I would recommend giving it a shot to make this sauce because it was really simple and easy, and I feel like it turned out really good and probably healthier than buying one from the store as well. I just let all of this thicken up in a little saucepan so it was ready to go when the chicken came out of the oven. Once the chicken was completely cooked through, I did go ahead and set some of this chicken off to the side just in case my kids did not like the sauce mixture, and basically it was just chicken nuggets for them. My kids did actually like this though, and they ended up having the kind with the sauce. And then here's that glaze that I was talking about. You're just gonna pour a little bit of this over the chicken. Now I did not use the full amount. You can totally add a little bit more or a little bit less. I felt like the sauce was pretty strong, so I did not think we needed all of the sauce. And this ended up being a really good dinner. We loved this one. It's definitely something I will be adding to my cookbook, and I just served it alongside some rice and some green beans, and it was a really delicious dinner. Alright guys, that is going to wrap up today's video. I really hope that you enjoyed all of these 30-minute dinner ideas. I do have a couple other videos that are just like this, so I will have them linked for you. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you all in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.